Do you have a musty smell in your home? Does it smell like wet dirt inside? If so, this video is for you. You might have heard the buzz about Actinomycetes recently, and we want to give you some facts and our practical perspective on it. As always, we aim to empower you to take control over your situation rather than be frozen by the next new thing. Because the truth is, Actinomycetes isn't new. In fact, it's a gram-positive bacteria that opportunistically grows when mold is growing, but mold is actually the issue, and people are getting sick from mold. It smells like wet dirt or wet potting soil and is what truly causes that musty smell. It's abundant outdoors and loves mold. You cannot have Actinomycetes without lots of water. Actinomycosis is a medical condition and it's serious. If Actinomycetes was the problem that we've been hearing it is, lots of people would be hospitalized with pus-filled wounds. But if it is, you have an even bigger mold issue. Actinomycetes are a special type of bacteria. They form thread-like filaments similar to hyphae, but are not fungi, as they have no cell nucleus and their cell walls contain no cellulose or chitin. Some Actinomycetes are also direct parasites of living fungal hyphae and resting spores. Additionally, they can compete with pathogenic fungi for nutrients. Other Actinomycetes can degrade organic material that is difficult to digest, such as cellulose, lignin, and chitin. Actinomycetes dislike acidic conditions, preferring a more alkaline pH between 6.5 and 8.0. The most important thing to understand about Actinomycetes is that they are ubiquitous in soil and are also ubiquitous in us. They are actually normal bacteria in dental plaque. But just like mold is ubiquitous, Actinomycetes can become problematic to a home or building's inhabitants when water damage is an issue and mold grows unchecked, because where there is water damage and high mold growth, there is also Actinomycetes. And where there is unchecked mold growth in an indoor environment, the immune systems of those living there are compromised, making it harder for them to fight off illness and disease of all kinds. So how do we get elevated levels of Actinomycetes in the home? Before we dive into if Actinomycetes needs to be specifically addressed during remediation, we first need to discuss what contributes to these bacteria counts becoming elevated beyond what is healthy inside a home. High levels of Actinomycetes can be attributed to several factors. Additionally, indoor water features or reservoirs like fish tanks, marine and reptile habitats, hot tubs, fountains, or swimming pools can harbor Actinobacteria if not properly maintained. High levels of Actinomycetes inside a home can be attributed to several factors. Number 1, moisture. Actinomycetes thrive in moist environments. Water damage from leaks, floods, or high humidity creates ideal conditions for their growth. Number 2, organic material. Actinobacteria feed on organic materials like wood, drywall, cellulose, and insulation. If moisture is introduced, an ideal environment for Actinomycetes growth is created. Water damage to these materials provides an ideal environment and a food source for Actinomycetes. Things like dirt, crawlspaces, potted plants, indoor gardens, pets that go outside and track dirt in, and wearing shoes indoors can all contribute to elevated Actinomycetes in house dust, on furniture, and belongings. Number 3, poor ventilation. Lack of ventilation and air movement creates humidity, further promoting the growth of Actinomycetes. Number 4, co-colonization with mold. Actinomycetes often grow alongside mold and feed on mold, which also thrives in these same conditions. In other words, if the environment fosters mold growth, it's also fostering an ideal habitat for Actinomycetes. Number 5, people and pets. Actinomycetes are a natural component of the human and animal microbiota, residing predominantly in the oral cavity, gastrointestinal tract, and female genital tract. Thus, where people and animals are congregating, living, and breathing, Actinomycetes are also present and part of the environment. Regular cleaning, dusting, and vacuuming should keep Actinobacteria levels manageable. But when occupant hygiene is poor or occupant health is poor, levels of indoor Actinobacteria also tend to rise. This has been measured by linking the source of Actinobacteria in house dust directly to a home's occupants as the main contributors. Number 6, mold growth. Where there's mold, opportunistic bacteria also grow. The bottom line is, address the mold to keep Actinomycetes at bay. Addressing water damage promptly and ensuring proper ventilation can help reduce the risk of Actinomycetes growth in your home. Don't let trends in something that seems like a new issue distract you away from the real issue at hand, mold. Actinomycetes is essentially an opportunistic bacteria that grows when mold is present. So what can you do? Address the environment and your body. Dr. Dennis developed the Mold Protocol Guide to help support management of mold-triggered illness and chronic sinusitis in both of these places. For the body, it helps with understanding how mold enters your body, disrupts your immune system, and causes illness, which is critical for regaining your health, and the steps to take to eliminate mold in your body, boost your immune system, and support pituitary and cellular healing. The goal is to end the inflammatory response that is causing all of your health ailments. For the environment, the Mold Protocol Guide is designed to help with detecting the source of the mold exposure and remediating or removing yourself from the environment, which is key to regaining health. The environmental protocol is designed to eliminate mold in your environment and on your belongings to allow your body to heal and recover. The goal is to identify the exposure sources, remove or clean them, and maintain a mold-free space. Don't just spray and pray. Deep clean following the environmental protocol to keep Actinomycetes and mold at bay. We want you to feel good again.